Welcome to the Eric T conversation. I'm Eric T. Well, I have a slow leak in my tire and I can't find it. I've rolled the tire forward, I've rolled it backwards, I've sprayed it with soapy water, I sprayed the rim with soapy water, I've sprayed the stem, no bubbles. I can't find where this leak is coming from. And I refuse to take it to the tire store because they want to sell you a tire. And if they patch it, it's going to be like $40. And God forbid the nail is not on the edge of the tire, because if it's on the outer edge by the wall, for some reason they're not allowed to patch that anymore. And they don't use plugs. They stopped doing plugs like 10 years ago. So they only patch it, no plugs. Well, you can go downtown and find an old gas station somewhere. A guy named Vinny smokes 2 packs of Marlboro a day, greasy fingers. Oh, he'll plug it for you. He'll plug it wherever you want it. He'll stick it in, pull it out, cost you $10, and your warranty's gone as soon as you can't see your taillights anymore. So if you want to go do that, you can do that. But I am a man. I have a plug kit, and I plug many a tire. I refuse to do that. So I got to fill it up with air every 4 or 5 days. I got to put about 10 pounds in it. That's not the problem. The problem is it costs $1.75 every time I want to put air in my tire. And it's only like 2 minutes worth of air. Not even 2 minutes, like 10 seconds worth of air. And I got to pay $1.75. So I have a little problem with that. The whole charging me for air, it's crazy. You charge me for air that you basically can get for free. Now, back in the 70s, 80s, 50s, 60s, there used to be an air pump in between the 2 gas pumps. And you'd pull your car in, you get air, you'd be a kid, you ride your bike there, you put some air in your tires, and you'd be on your way. And somebody got smart. And said, man, we gotta start charging people that. We got a line of people filling up their tires. Let's put it in a corner, charge $1.75 for it, and make it last 3 minutes. So if they got 4 tires, they got to put another $1.75 and start the whole thing all over again. And you ever get done with the air tire pump and you let it sit there and it's still got air? Like, oh man, that's such a waste of money. Just air just flowing out. Like anybody else, like you ever had somebody come up and be like, hey man, help yourself. It's still going. It's my dime. Fill your tires up as much as you can. So I've done it many times. So only place you can get free air around here is at a Wawa. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a Wawa, but they have these hoses that are made of plastic and they're red and they're springy. Now, they don't last very long. Every time I go to Wawa, that sucker snaps because somebody with an F350 decides to fill their tires up from the front left of the tire and they bring it all the way to the cab in the back right. And it pulls that thing so tight, it's like a 350-pound man in a medium shirt. It's just, man, it's holding on for dear life, even if you can get it on there at all. And that's the problem with it, because they're always broken. They're made of like plastic material that you'd make out of a drinking straw. Like, hey, Wawa, just put a 60-foot rubber hose on that thing. Just a regular hose that we got to lasso in every time we're done. Then you wouldn't have to replace it every 35 days because that's all that is broken. Unless you've got 2 stations. And if you have 2 stations, there's a line to fill up the air. And then you always get that ass that decides to park in that one spot where the air is, and he goes in the store and makes quesadillas and is inside for 20 minutes while he's trying to get some air. So that's a nightmare. So I just refuse. I refuse. I'm going to deal with it on my own time. But I'm going to find a nail. I'm going to plug it with the kit that I have, and I won't have to deal with this anymore. But for right now, I'm a little inconvenienced spending $1.75 filling in my car every 4 to 5 days. Anyway, that's my observation. Now on for the conversation. Drones, baby. Drones all over New Jersey. Drones are flying over the weapons system naval base in New Jersey. And people are freaking out. Freaking. Now, these aren't regular drones that you see as a kid, the size of a textbook. These drones are the size of couches, okay? So they're so big that it's freaking people out because you see these things on there and you're like, they're huge. If these things start doing things, it could be bad. Yeah, it could be very bad. And I heard something on Reddit that somebody said it's the United States Space Force that are flying these things around. Wrong. I live 5 minutes from Patrick Space Force Base. I grew up over here on the east coast of Florida. Nobody's talking about drones. Nobody's talking about flying drones. And yeah, I know if you say it's top secret, I got news for you. You get some E4 in there, E3 at the nudie bar, and he starts having a couple of cocktails. He's going to be bragging to everybody that he's flying drones all over New Jersey. And he's not. No one's talking about it. So the government knows who's doing it. Who? John Kirby came out, the spokesman of the White House, National Security Agency, came out and he's like, nothing to see here. Yeah, because they know who's doing it. And they don't care. As long as we're preoccupied by this up here, the drones, they don't know what's going on down here. Keep them over here, they don't know what's going on over here. And that's what our government does all the time. Anytime you see something in a news cycle that's just rampant, going crazy, nobody has any answers, nobody knows what it is, nobody even noticed them until someday somebody looked up at the sky and saw a bunch of lights. They've been going on there, up there, since like November 18th. So almost a month they've been flying around. And people now are starting to be aware of it because people started looking up at the sky. It's like you happen to look up and you see an airplane. You don't know planes are up there until you look up there. And that's what happened. So people are freaking out. They're calling their congressmen. They're calling their senators. And I tell you, it's all bump. The reason why is because they want us to be freaked out about this while they're doing something shady on the other side. And that's what our government always does. Anytime you see something in a news cycle that's freaking you out, or they're like, well, listen, nothing to see here, like those Chinese spy balloons. Yeah, sure. Chinese spy balloons. Okay. Yeah, they were doing something else on the other side while we were worried about the Chinese spy balloons flying over our military installations. They were doing that. They knew who did that while they were doing something else. So start paying attention. Start looking at things that they aren't doing, aren't saying, because there are things that they're doing because you're paying attention to something else. Well, the hands over here, something over here is doing it nefarious. And that's what our government does. So I wouldn't freak out. And I'm sure there's a lot of people posting on social media with their shotguns sitting there like, come on down to my house. I'll blow you out right out of the sky. No, you won't. No, you won't. Not unless they're coming right at you. And good luck. These are the size of a couch. You're not hitting it with a pistol. You're not even taking it down with a 9mm. You better have a 50 cal. And yeah, your shotgun may get one. But imagine if 100 are coming at you and one get past that goalie. Whew, that's going to run some havoc on a lot of people. It flies into some structure somewhere and has an ordinance on it. Goodbye. So yeah, pay attention. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. Everybody starts freaking out because of social media. Our country knows who's doing it, and they're letting it happen so they can do other things. So watch what they're not saying, because that's what they're saying. Other news, J.D. Vance has invited Daniel Penny to the Army-Navy game. I think that's great. Okay, Daniel Penny, if you don't know, was found not guilty in New York court for second-degree murder of Jordan Neely, who he choked out on the subway train. I don't know if you've ever been on a subway in New York. I have many times. My family was in the Bronx. I used to spend my summers there a lot of times. There's always crazy people on the subway train. You just kind of look down. It's just something that happens on a subway. People know it happens every day. You just turn around, you look, don't pay attention. They move along. Well, this particular day, this guy got really, really violent. He was telling he's going to kill people. He took it to a level where everybody on that train truly believed he was going to hurt someone. So Daniel Penny put him in a chokehold. He was a former Marine. In the military, we're all trained how to do the chokehold. Okay, we all have it done to us, so we know what it feels like, and we all performed it. So he performed the chokehold, standard chokehold. The guy passed out. He didn't die from that. He was still breathing when the police arrived. It's in the reports. He was still breathing. So he didn't kill the guy, but they still had him on trial for second-degree murder. And thank God, justice in New York, believe it or not, prevailed, and he was found not guilty. Now he gets to go hang out with another Marine, which I think that's awesome, and watch the Army-Navy game, because, you know, the Marines are part of the Navy, so that's why they get to hang out with those guys. And I think that's great. I hope Daniel Penny moves out of New York, goes to Texas or Florida, go somewhere else. Start your life over, because people know who you are, and someone's willing to make their bones on you. They are. So good luck. God bless you. Semper Fi. And that's my conversation of the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Join me next time for a little chit-chat, some observation, and some good conversation. Go Army. Be Navy. Hua.